Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, May 27, and we have hit the L's in my vinyl collection. First up, Lightfoot, Gordon Lightfoot. Definitely a good one. The Way I Feel, For Love and Me, Early Morning Rain. Great Lightfoot album. This one was definitely my dad's as well. Next up, Greg Lake album. We've discussed Greg Lake a couple of times. He was a part of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, who we talked about during Ease, and as well he was an occasional member of King Crimson. Spoke about them yesterday. I listened to this album yesterday. It might be the first time I've listened to it, and it very much doesn't really sound like Greg Lake. It put me in mind of like an 80s power metal band. That's alright. La Bamba, great soundtrack. Most of it is Los Lobos performing Richie Valens songs, but it also has Crying, Waiting, Hoping, which was by Marshall Crenshaw, who played Buddy Holly in the movie. Good soundtrack. Huey Lewis and the News, Sports. This was their big breakthrough album. Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul, I Want a New Drug, If This Is It. Unfortunately, it doesn't have Stuck With You, my favorite Huey Lewis song. But one interesting note is the band The News were also known as Clover before they joined up with Huey Lewis. And they can be heard on the debut Elvis Costello album, My Aim Is True. They're not officially credited on the album. There was contract issues, so they are actually listed as Shamrocks on some releases. But if you ever listen to the radio and you hear the Elvis Costello song, Allison, or Watching the Detectives, you're actually hearing Elvis Costello with The News. Last up, and most interestingly, is a couple of Led Zeppelin albums I have in my collection. I have Zeppelin 1 and 2, both great albums. It's Led Zeppelin. But the one that I think is the most interesting is their album In Through the Outdoor. When it was released, it initially came in a plain brown paper bag with Led Zeppelin In Through the Outdoor stamped over here. The reason for that is there are 6 distinct and different covers for the album. So you can see on the cover, the man at the bar is the main character, but there is also lady on the side, the bartender. There is a lady on the other side by the jukebox. And then on different albums, from a different perspective, you can see man in the corner. And there is also lady at the end of the bar and the piano player. So all of the different albums, the photograph is taken from the perspective of one of those characters. So, for example, this album cover is coming from the perspective of this lady at the end of the bar. While this one is from behind him, and it's taken from the perspective of this lady right here. Very unique way to do the album. It actually won the Grammy in 1980 for Best Album Design. If you happen to be collecting them, on the spines of it, and I don't know if it'll zoom in, it actually has a letter on there. So I have D and F. So there are 4 other versions that are out there that I don't have. At some point in my life, I'd love to have all 4. I'd also need to replace D. People, don't put stickers on the album. Christ's sakes. But yeah. And that wasn't the only unique thing about this album. On top of that, the inside liner, which, and by the way, this is what I'm listening to right now, In Through the Outdoor. This was done as like a paint by numbers with color. So the idea was that, with water. So if you got this wet, the colors revealed. The other copy of this that I have is much more colored. So you can sort of see the difference between the two. This person colored some of it. This one went to town. Probably pretty equal on that one. So yeah, Led Zeppelin In Through the Outdoor. Pretty unique album design. It was also Zeppelin's last studio release. So that's it for the L's. Back tomorrow with M. A few surprises in there too. Have a great day, everyone.